It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
This question's come up on a few different live shows. I don't know if it's the same person or if I just keep getting, but since I keep seeing it, I'm going to go and answer it because it's a really good one. Hi, money guys. Thank you for all the information that you guys provide. You are most certainly welcome. Where does estate planning, will, trust, etc., fall within the FOO, financial order of operations? And I feel like we keep getting this question all the time. When you think about the financial order of operations, what it's really about is what should I do with my next dollar? How should I go about building wealth? How should I go about thinking about building up my portfolio? How should I think about getting my money to work for me? Estate planning is actually another side of financial planning that's risk management, right? So this is not, the reason it doesn't fall into it's between step 2 and step 3 is because it varies based on your own unique personal situation. Some folks might get married and start a family and have some risks that need to be managed before they ever get to step 1 of FOO. Some folks may get all the way into hyperaccumulation before they start thinking about, okay, well, what risks do I need to manage? How do I need to think about assets after I'm gone? So it may be different for them. I would not let my estate planning, my ability to go get wills in place, my ability to go purchase life insurance, healthcare directives, healthcare powers of attorney, I don't know that that's a conversation that happens in the financial order of operations. I think that one happens in the life order of operations.
Well, we did take it into account. I mean, I know it's not on the 9 steps, but if you actually did the deeper dive course, part of our ground rules are exactly things like this. You have to make sure risk management is built into our ground rules. That's where you're talking about life insurance. That's where you're talking about wills. That's where we're talking about even, having an umbrella policy. Those type of things all come into play. And that's why the first thing we have is deductibles covered, is because that is kind of a component of risk. But this is a step 0 in my eyes. I mean, look, I pick on people all the time. I remember talking to prospects, and if I found out they were in their 30s, 40s, I'd be like, oh, do you have kids in the house? And I'm like, yeah. I'd be like, well, okay, first thing we need to ask before I ask you any financial questions, how's the will? I mean, who's taking over the kids if something happens to you and your spouse? And a lot of times people didn't have the answer for me. And I was like, that's where you need to start. We got to start with making sure you have a will. And then tell me this, how much term life insurance do you have? We don't even sell insurance. We're not insurance salesmen, but we know the power of having something to replace your income if you have not fulfilled all of your financial goals. And that's why we like term insurance, because it's so daggum cheap. And it allows you to check the box on those things so you can hit the ground running with the 9 steps of the financial order of operations. So that's a great question, but I consider that part of the ground rules, meaning the homework you do before you even step into step 1 of the financial order of operations.